How's it going, everyone? I am the one and only Kaiju Sage. Welcome back to a new video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the difficulty problem in Path of Exile. What is the difficulty problem? Well, I'll tell you about it in just a second, what I'm talking about. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. I really appreciate all the support we've been getting lately. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate the growth that I've been seeing. Let's continue to push ever forward. We're approaching 250, 300 subscribers. Let's just keep rolling. Like I said, I want to try to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, or if we can do it sooner, I'd love to have 1,000 subscribers before Diablo 4 comes out, because I'm going to be making so much content about Diablo 4. It's going to be nuts. I hope you all will subscribe, and I'm going to also continue to make Path of Exile content. I'm going to alternate back and forth between those two, so look forward to it. Anyway, thank you all. Let's dive in and talk about the difficulty problem in Path of Exile. What am I talking about? Well, if you missed them, I made 2 videos this week so far. 2 days ago, I made a video talking about, is Path of Exile too difficult for new players? And then yesterday, I made a video talking about, is Path of Exile too easy for veteran players? And so that then begs the question, does Path of Exile have a problem with its difficulty in one form or another, or several forms? And the answer is yes, it does have a difficulty problem. It has a problem where, especially on the new player side of things, the game is very, very hard to begin. It's very hard for new players. And I talked about in yesterday's video that the reason that is because it is a knowledge-based game. Path of Exile is extremely knowledge-based. You have to know what skills work together well, what support gems work best with those skills, what items work with those skills, what, supplementary abilities can support those gems and keep you alive. How do defenses work? How do the given enemies all function? How do the mechanics of the actual game work? How do I craft items? You see what I mean? Like, I can keep going. There are so many aspects of the game that cause additional difficulty. So, the question is, I guess, how do we make the game easier for new players? How do you simplify the game for new players, and on the inverse, not make it mind-numbingly easy for veteran players, right? Because you do still have to some degree, take into account the players who have kept the game running, keep the game alive. The veteran players, the streamers, the people who put, 100, 150, 250 hours plus per league. How do you keep the game in a difficult enough state to keep them happy, but still allow new players to be able to enjoy the game and function? That is the question. That is the issue at hand. How do you make a good difficulty balance for Path of Exile? For starters, simplify the systems of the game. Don't necessarily make the fights easier, because that is one of the ways of difficulty that still rewards veteran players. A veteran player who has killed 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿, 500 times, should still know how to kill 𝙀𝙓𝙋. You know what I mean? Don't simplify the fights. Don't change the existing fights, per se. And I know in Path of Exile 2, a lot of this, I'm going to mention Path of Exile 2 a ton. If you have not seen it, there is a Path of Exile 2 early look trailer, something like that. Go watch that. Go look at the Path of Exile 2. It was like the reveal of ExileCon in 2020 or 2021. It was like 2-3 years ago. Just look at Path of Exile 2 trailer. Go watch that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they have a lot of plans to deal with a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about, so I'm going to reference it a lot. So just go watch that if you haven't already. Anyway, so how do we simplify the systems? Number one of the systems they are already simplifying is skill gems. In what way? Well, they are simplifying them by taking the items having sockets and just removing sockets from items. Your gem sockets are now going to be tied to a skill gem, is the current way they have presented it. So a skill gem is going to have links associated with it, and you're going to have like a skill gem menu where you link skill gems that you are using, and you can then have links on those skill gems. That's how they've put it, how they've described it. This definitely will simplify the game in terms of gearing. You no longer have to worry about, oh, well, I'm playing a witch and I have a ton of intelligence, but I don't have enough strength to go an armor build. I just don't have enough. Or, vice versa. I don't have enough dexterity to go an evasion build. And also still get my sockets for my gems that I want to use, right? Like that is one of the big struggling points as I've been trying to teach some my friends how to play the game. I had to teach them like, hey, you do need to worry about what type of gear you're using, because otherwise you won't be able to use your skill, your build. You need to use the right kind of gear. I won't have to say that anymore once Path of Exile 2 comes around. But that could be a year and a half from now. Like, I think people, if anybody has an unrealistic expectation, they are going to have some big reveals at ExileCon at the end of this year. Or middle of this year or something. Middle of 2023. Somewhere I think it's in the fall. I don't remember. Anyway, they're going to have some reveals. My assumption is they're going to say, we're going to be beginning Path of Exile 2 at the beginning or the first quarter of 2024, potentially, at the earliest, or maybe quarter 2 of 2024. And they're going to start having betas between here and there, right? After ExileCon reveals it, they're going to start having some like closed NDA betas and stuff to start letting people test it. Anyway, all that out of the way. How do we deal with the difficulty problem now? So, number one, tutorials can only go so far, but tutorials are a good way to help new players. When they encounter a currency item, tell them what it does. Have a little pop-up that says, hey, you dropped an alchemy orb. If you use this on a white item, it'll turn it gold and give it some extra modifiers. Makes the item better. If you find a transmute, alteration, augmentation, etc., tell them what it does. You can even put a little thing that shows you turning an item blue, turning an item gold, corrupting an item, linking and adding jewel sockets for now, until that system is gone. That system still exists, and that's, a pain point for new players. Beyond those things, you really can't do much for the new players outside of just trying to not allow the game's bloat to continue to grow. And they're doing a good job of this to some degree now. They're starting to remove old systems that were outdated and were extremely unintuitive and stuff. Like they removed prophecy, they removed Parandus, they removed I think they removed at least one other one that I'm forgetting. And just trying to allow the new players to have a real fighting chance of learning the game as it is. For the new players, you can always, I'm here on the character creation screen, I just have it in the background because it's easiest. You can always play in standard while you're learning to play the game. That's how I learned. I learned playing in standard for a while. Also, when I first started playing, it was before leagues were really, really prevalent yet. I played in the beta, and I played, every league, or before leagues, and I played in standard. And then once leagues started becoming popular, I started playing seriously around Abyss. And that was Path of Exile 2 point, I don't even remember, I think. And it was a long, long time ago now. And I've played ever since, made it to endgame. I beat the Shaper the first time in Abyss League, and then I've done it ever since. So it's hard for me to really grit down and think about how do we make it easier for new players. One of the big things that, like I said before, helping players understand what skills work together is another big thing. Allow these, I don't even know how to say allow. It's a thing where tell players, hey, these skills can work with this skill. If I'm using Ice Bolt, Frost Nova, tell them, hey, You know, if you use Frostbolt and Ice Nova together, it has a cool interaction. If you use Frost Bomb with these skills, Frost Bomb weakens the enemies against ice damage. So you can use this and it'll help you do more damage. Like, tell them what things work together. Show them a little bit of like how to do it. And I don't know the exact way to handle this, but like, those are the things that I'm thinking of. There's a few more ways that I would like to see simplifications and stuff. Also, I would say probably, especially even for new players, give them some form of a currency tab, even if it's a reduced one, something where they have a concrete place to look at currencies and be like, oh, all my currency items are going here. This is an easier way for me to look at each of them, analyze it, and be like, okay, this does this, this does this, this does this, this does this, instead of just dumping it in a random stash tab and then having to look for it and find it later. Like, that is one real pain point. And I understand they have to make money, but is really like draining the player of the ability to understand items and crafting a good way to make money off of new players. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they should give some form of reduced currency tab at a minimum, just so players can look at the things and be like, okay, this is this, all in one place. And then, yeah, just try to simplify the game, provide good tutorials, and provide easier information availability for skill gems, how things work, and how the game functions. That's all I've got to say. And, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about difficulty? How could they simplify the game in a way that helps the new players, but doesn't just, dumb it down and make it mind-numbing for veteran players? I'd love to hear from you. If I enjoy your comment, I'll give it a heart. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. I really appreciate, once again, all the support we've been getting lately. Thank you all so much for everything that you've been, all the support and all the comments and everything. I really appreciate everybody. Yeah, I mean, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you for a new video tomorrow.